What that man can do to me with those eyes looking at me, but he has a way of, like, I don't know, just looking at you with those eyes, those eyes, those eyes. I can't. Salam. Welcome back, my friends. In part 2, I'll be reviewing the story of Yousef, or as it relates to Mr. Zamani, the Prophet Yousef.
You didn't say who you are. Yousef, or Yousef.
It's been nearly 20 years since its debut, and when Mr. Zamani burst onto the scene, yet so many around the world are seeing it for the first time. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Are you ready? Set. Here we go. The Prophet Yousef. The series debuted December 27, 2008. It was so popular that it's been dubbed in several languages. And it had quite the impact in the Arab community. The story follows a narrative of Yousef, who is sold into slavery by his brothers to Egypt, to his rise in status and power through interpreting dreams. MOSTAFA ZAMANI is front and center, and in my opinion, born to play the role of Yousef. He auditioned for the role at the suggestion of a friend who thought that he may be a good fit due to his strikingly good looks. He was selected out of 3,000 people for the role. Obviously, that friend was right. He first appears on the scene in episode 14 as Yousef transitions from a boy of 10 years old to a strong, young, handsome man of 20 as he trains with Radaman, Potiphar's head guard, as Zuleika, Potiphar's wife, ever so carefully admires him from afar. MOSTAFA ZAMANI nails the perfect balance between exhibiting a boyish naivete while simultaneously displaying a serious yet mysterious demeanor as he effortlessly transitions between twinkling eyes to a total avoidance of Zuleika's penetrating stares.
Sometimes I feel the weight of their stares, but I pay no attention.
He became an instant heartthrob to many teens, tweens, and women. When news got out about how Zuleika shamelessly threw herself at Yousef, she puts him on full display before the women of Egypt as if to say, "Hey, can you blame me for going after that?" The women are so taken by his beauty, they can't take their eyes off of him. As a result, they don't even realize that they are cutting their hands. After the ladies see him, Zuleika feels justified, and all the women begin to conspire together in an effort to break him. But he chooses jail instead. Now that's my kind of man. Another one of my favorite scenes is when Yousef goes to prison and is compelled to save an inmate from a bully, and he gets into a fight. Well, not really, but it's fun to watch. Like I said, that's my kind of man. But there's another scene that's not so fun to watch, when Yousef is unjustly flogged. Even though the Prophet Yousef was created for Arabic audiences, the original language is Farsi or Persian. It had to be dubbed into Arabic. There are some differences between Persians and Arabs, as noted in this comedy sketch.
Previously on the Persian Bachelorette.
سلام دوستان، من منیجه هستم. از من خواهش کردن بیام اینجا منو با زور شوهر بدن. والا من احتیاجی ندارم، ولی خب دیگه میگن وقتشه. Nice to meet you.
Hi. Okay. Oh, 3. Wow.
Persian Bay.
Okay, aggressive this one. You dropped your...
Oh no, it's okay. Fan of your work since early 90s.
I'm actually a connoisseur of exotic women.
Okay.
I've memorized this poem in Arabic.
Arabic. حالم به هم خورد واقعا. These Americans, they are thinking we are Arab. It's so unethical. I hate it. میخوام برم؟
I thought she was the one.
That's another difference between Persians and Arabs. The language. Persians speak Persian or Farsi, and Arabs speak Arabic. Personally, I can hear those differences. Farsi sounds softer and more romantic and uses some French expressions. For example, the phrase thank you in Farsi is mamnoon, or the French word merci, as in simply merci, merci. Or does it just sound, shall I say, more colorful when MOSTAFA ZAMANI speaks?
تو اینجا چه می‌کنی؟ چرا این همه آشفته؟
Now, Arabic has a more aggressive sound, and when you factor in different dialects based on the various regions, in addition to the speed in which one speaks, it adds yet a different flavor. If you want to know why and how we have so many different languages, check out Genesis chapter 11. And here's another interesting fact. He had to wear brown contact lenses while filming to conceal those beautiful green eyes. Question: green eyes or brown eyes? Which do you prefer? Please put your answer below. He also had to weight train and learn how to ride horses, all in preparation for the role of Yousef. And speaking about those eyes, during his wedding ceremony, he unintentionally gets lost in thought, thinking about his dad, Jacob. But then his focus shifts back to his bride. Ooh la la. And when Yousef reveals his true identity to baby brother Benjamin,
Yousef?
how can you not get lost in those eyes? You MOSTAFA ZAMANI fans know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, I can't talk about the story of Yousef without talking about the father and son reunion. That moment when father and son lay eyes on one another again. If Mr. Zamani ever looked at me like that. That would be the sound of the angels singing. Father jumps down from camel. Son jumps down from horse. And the race is on. They can't get to each other fast enough. Papa Jacob falls 5 times. Son falls down and gets back up. But I don't think that MOSTAFA planned to fall. I personally like to believe that it also speaks to his passion as a person and his ability to consume the characters that he portrays. According to Genesis chapter 46, verse 29, after being separated for decades, father and son were reunited and never separated again until Jacob's death. Now, who said the Bible is boring? And as the series progresses, so does Mustafa's performance as he comfortably finds his sweet spot, settling into the role of Joseph. Now, as a Christian, I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I didn't point out some of the most glaring differences reflected in this version of events that differs from the Bible. In the prophet Joseph, Jacob has a sister instead of a twin brother, Esau, as it is written in Genesis chapter 25, verse 26. Next, in the prophet Joseph, as mentioned before, Joseph is 10 years old when he's sold into slavery. However, it's recorded in Genesis chapter 27, verse 2, that Joseph was more like 17 when he was sold into slavery. Next, in the prophet Joseph, Joseph's firstborn child was a girl named Manasseh, followed by a son, Ephraim, who appears to be a year or two younger than Manasseh. However, according to Genesis chapter 46, verse 20, Asenath, Joseph's wife, gave birth to twin boys, Manasseh and Ephraim. Now, I just want to pause again to take note of something that is worth taking note of. The little girl who portrays Manasseh is always looking at, or I'd like to think, up to Mustafa, aka Joseph, during all of her scenes. Even when she's with her mom, Asenath, her eyes are on Joseph. So why are her eyes so fixed on her father? Aside from the fact that daddy is looking good, y'all. As little girls, we need to have strong father figures that we can look up to. Fathers should be heroes in their daughters' eyes. Now, she's old enough to know that she's acting, playing a role, but at the same time, I'm sure she couldn't help but notice all the praise, all the adoration, all of his good deeds, his loving relationship with God, his Father, his very nature, everything that is bestowed upon Joseph. The fact that he is the savior of Egypt, the entire world at the time, acting or not, I'm sure it had a profound effect, a very positive effect and portrayal of fathers and men in general in this little girl's eyes. When so many fathers are not present in their daughter's life, or they are not the best role models. Additionally, in most Middle Eastern cultures, women are not held in high esteem. They are often treated as second-class citizens in many ways. I'll address this topic as it is relevant in some of my upcoming videos in this series. I wonder how little Miss Manasseh is doing 20 years later, now that she's all grown up. And speaking of women, Joseph and Zuleika, they never married. The Bible does not even give Potiphar's wife a name. She's simply referred to as Potiphar's wife in the story of Joseph, as it is written in Genesis chapter 39, verses 7 through 20. However, later, Jewish and Islamic traditions identify her as Zuleika. Nevertheless, it's common practice for the writers of movies and TV shows who create religious or faith-based content to take some creative liberties. So it's always a great idea to do your homework. Lastly, and in my opinion, One very significant difference in the prophet Joseph is the claim that Ishmael is a son that Abraham took to the altar to be sacrificed. But according to Genesis chapter 22, verse 2, it is Isaac, not Ishmael, who was taken to be sacrificed. However, this version of the story is based primarily on the Quran, which includes the scene with the oranges and the women of Egypt cutting themselves with the knives. There are several lessons that can be gleaned from this story overall. And maybe I'll plan a deeper dive in a separate video. But what I've always loved about the story of Joseph is that it is a foreshadowing of what Jesus did. God gave Joseph a plan to save the world, but God gave Jesus the plan to save the world. So to sum it up, I found this series to be very entertaining. MOSTAFA ZAMANI did a great job. You could really see him, as a fairly new actor at the time, grow into the role of Joseph with each episode. And of course, the entire cast did an amazing job. I initially watched it on Salam Media English, but it's available in a variety of languages like Francais, Espanol, Turkish, Arabian. I'm sure you can find it in a language that you'll understand. If not, just look at the video, like I do with some of Mustafa's movies that are not translated. Hey, I may not understand what he's saying, but one thing's for sure, he really looks good saying it. Coming up, In the Eye of the Storm, AAL, Punishment, Retribution, Keyfar, and much more.
You heard me?
I bet that hurt. Do not cover those lips. They are beautiful. They are luscious. Okay, I have some breaking news for all you MOSTAFA ZAMANI fans. I just learned of another movie that is in the works, and it's all about how a man from Iran goes to America and finds the love of his life. It's an incredible love story, and it's going to be starring MOSTAFA ZAMANI, and his leading lady is me. Okay, so that's not true, but I could read, can't I?